Welcome to the Trial of Socrates, Truth, Justice, and Virtue, selections from Crito by Plato, Vegetarian, Part 1 of 2, on Words of Wisdom. The venerated Socrates, Vegetarian, was born in Athens, Greece, circa 470 BC. Many people consider him to be the father of Western philosophy. Others think of him as an insightful teacher and an enlightened master. Socrates believed that an individual's main purpose on earth was to discover the truth. He stated that most people focus their lives around their families, careers, and social responsibilities, when in fact they should be concerned about the welfare of their souls. With compassion for all life, Socrates followed and promoted a vegetarian diet. Most of the information about Socrates, vegetarian, his life, and his philosophy was transcribed after his departure by two of his students, Plato, vegetarian, and Xenophon, vegetarian. These disciples wrote about their master in several books, in which Socrates is depicted as the main character. Originally written in 360 BC by Plato, vegetarian, Krito depicts a conversation between Socrates and his faithful friend Krito while he is awaiting execution in prison from an unjust trial against him. Here Socrates explains the divine concept that it is unacceptable to repay evil with evil, and that one should not pay too much attention to what the majority think, but rather follow the direction of the divine providence. During a lecture in Costa Rica in 1989, Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan spoke of the sacrifices that the saints, including Socrates, vegetarian, made to enlighten people, and why they are the greatest peacemakers.
All the saints in the past worked very hard to enlighten people, even though by doing so, they have to endure many kinds of criticism, misunderstandings, and hardships, sometimes even risking their lives, such as in the case of Jesus and Socrates. Also Buddha, many people wanted to kill him, also tried to blacken his name. But despite all of this difficulty, the saints always endure for the sake of people. The saints are the greatest peacemakers, the greatest politicians who always bring peace into the world, the king without any throne, because they don't need anything in this world.
Today we would like to present selections from Krito, wherein Socrates, vegetarian, poses rhetorical questions exploring the nature of justice and the rights of individuals who have been oppressed or wrongly accused. Socrates addressed Krito. I say next, then, or rather I ask, whether when a man has promised to do things that are just, he ought to do them or evade his promise. Krito answered, he ought to do them. Socrates continued, observe then what follows. By departing hence without the leave of the city, are we not doing evil to some, and that to those to whom we ought least of all to do it, or not? And do we abide by what we agreed on as being just, or do we not? Krito replied, I am unable to answer your question, Socrates, for I do not understand it. Socrates proceeded, then consider it thus. If, while we were preparing to run away, the laws and commonwealth should come and say, tell me, Socrates, what do you purpose doing? Do you design anything else by this proceeding in which you are engaged than to destroy us, the laws, and the whole city? Or do you think it possible for that city any longer to subsist and not be subverted, in which judgments that are passed have no force but are set aside and destroyed by private persons? What should we say, Krito, to these and similar remonstrances? For anyone, especially an orator, would have much to say on the violation of the law which enjoins that judgments passed shall be enforced. Shall we say to them that the city has done us an injustice, and not passed a right sentence? Shall we say this, or what else? Crito answered, This by Jupiter, Socrates. Socrates pressed on, What then if the laws should say, Socrates, was it not agreed between us that you should abide by the judgments which the city should pronounce? For come, what charge have you against us and the city, that you attempt to destroy us? Did we not first give you being? Do you with those that relate to your nurture when born, and the education with which you were instructed? Or did not the laws enjoin rightly in requiring your father to instruct you in music and gymnastic exercises? I should say rightly. Well then, since you were born, nurtured, and educated through our means, can you say, first of all, that you are not both our offspring and our slave, as well as your ancestors? And if this be so, do you think that there are equal rights between us? And whatever we attempt to do to you, do you think you may justly do to us in turn? Or had you not equal rights with your father or master, if you happened to have one, so as to return what you suffered, neither to retort when found fault with, nor when stricken to strike again, nor many other things of the kind, but that with your country and the laws you may do so that if we attempt to destroy you, thinking it to be just, you also should endeavor so far as you are able in return to destroy us, the laws, and your country. And in doing this, will you say that you act justly, you who in reality make virtue your chief object? That to offer violence either to one's mother or father is not holy, much less to one's country? What shall we say to these things, Crito? That the laws speak the truth or not? Crito replied to Socrates, It seems so to me. Socrates stated, Consider then, Socrates, the laws perhaps might say, whether we say truly that in what you are now attempting, you are attempting to do what is not just toward us. For we, having imparted to you and all other citizens all the good in our power, still proclaim by giving the power to every Athenian who pleases, and that anyone who is not satisfied with us may take his property and go wherever he pleases. But whoever continues with us, after he has seen the manner in which we administer justice, and in other respects govern the city, we now say that he has, in fact, entered into a compact with us to do what we order, and we affirm that he who does not obey is in three respects guilty of injustice, because he does not obey us who gave him being, and because he does not obey us who nurtured him, and because, having made a compact that he would obey us, he neither does so, nor does he persuade us if we do anything wrongly. Though we propose for his consideration, and do not rigidly command him to do what we order, but leave him the choice of one of two things, either to persuade us, or to do what we require, and yet he does neither of these. For more information, please visit Project Gutenberg or gutenberg.org.
We should be smart enough and kind enough to live without torturing other living beings, just so we can enjoy a juicy lunch. There are plenty of plant-based options available that taste great and are excellent meat and dairy alternatives. Andy Lely, vegan.
Saintly viewers, thank you for being with us today for Words of Wisdom.